I have completed over 1,400 DoorDash deliveries. My very first day DoorDashing, I made $32 in 30 minutes. During some of my higher paying days DoorDashing, I'll make over $40 in one single hour. And in one of my highest paying months, I made a little over $1,800 while only working 20 hours per week. Now, whether you are someone who is brand new to DoorDashing or someone who has completed 1,400 deliveries just like me, in this video, I'm going to give you guys all of the tips and strategies that I use to ensure that you make the most amount of money as a DoorDash driver. So without further ado, let's jump straight into the video. The key to maximizing your profit as a DoorDash driver is maximizing your time by ensuring none of your minutes are pointlessly wasted. As a dasher, your time is your money, and small preventable mistakes turn into wasted time that you could have used delivering orders. The biggest mistake dashers make is accepting the wrong orders and not accepting the right orders, specifically accepting orders with a bad dollar to mile ratio. The dollar to mile ratio is the amount of dollars you will be paid for every mile that you drive. The most important rule of thumb is to only accept orders that pay $1.50 to $2 per mile. Some dashers in different locations will say that you should only accept orders that pay $2 plus per mile, and this is great if you're able to do that in your location. However, in my location, I'm not able to do that because I live in more of a suburban town. With this $1.50 to $2 per mile range, you will generally average about $17 to $20 plus per hour. That has at least been my personal experience. But also remember that this varies by location and by time of day. Now, another thing to keep in mind is setting a minimum order amount while you're dashing. My minimum order amount is $6 to $7 in my area for me. Now that you know which orders to accept, how long should you wait for these orders to be prepared when you arrive at the restaurant? The amount of time I'll wait for an order at a restaurant varies, but on average, for each dollar I'm being paid, I'll wait an additional minute at the restaurant. For example, if I have a $10 order to go 5 to 7 miles, I will generally wait about 8 to 10 minutes max. The next tip is this: do not be afraid to decline orders. I currently have a 20% acceptance rate. Yes, I know some of you are probably shocked by that. Now, in regards to your acceptance rate, DoorDash will constantly show you the screenshot which says that you need to have a 50% acceptance rate and blah, 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 blah if you want to get high paying orders. Well, guess what? That's a big fat lie. At least that's what I've noticed. Recently, I took a 1.5-year break from DoorDashing, and when I came back, my acceptance rate was extremely low, around 20%. And rather than build my acceptance rate up to 50%, like DoorDash was claiming I must do in order to make high-paying orders, I recorded myself actually dashing with a 20% acceptance rate for a full week to truly test this new DoorDash algorithm and see if this new 50% acceptance rate requirement would stop me from getting high-paying orders. And to be honest with you guys, the results were quite shocking. So if you're not, make sure you're subscribed so you can be notified when I post this video next week. Anyways, the next tip is this: make sure you always communicate with restaurant employees. These employees will save you time and make you additional money. When many DoorDashers arrive at busy restaurants, they will tell the to-go staff the name of the pickup order and just sit and wait until the order is called. However, what I usually do is I go in the restaurant, I tell them the name of the order I'm waiting for, and then I usually say a question like this: excuse me, not to put any pressure on you, but do you know how long the wait is for the specific order? 9 times out of 10, if you're super friendly and kind with the staff, they'll be honest with you, and based off their response, I'll determine whether I'm going to stay for the order or not. Here's a pro tip: if you accepted an order and now you want to release the order because of the wait time, always make sure you communicate that with the customer. This will allow the customer to understand why their order isn't being accepted, and it will relieve some unnecessary communication between the customer and the next DoorDasher. Tip number 5, the best times to dash are generally lunch and dinner on the weekends, though this varies from city to city. In my city, the busiest days of the week are Saturday and Sundays from 12 p.m. to 10 p.m., as that's generally the lunch and dinner rush. However, from my personal experience, if you start dashing after 10 p.m., you're not going to make as much money because less restaurants are open. Mondays and Fridays from 5 to 10 p.m. are usually the dinner rush where I live, and you can generally make some really good money as well. Tip number 6, make sure to schedule your dashes as soon as dashes become available on the Dasher app. For me, shifts become available at 12 a.m. every single day. Rather than waiting to dash on the day of and waiting for the map to give me that busy notification, I just set an alarm on my phone for 12 a.m. I go into the app and I schedule the dashes that I want 7 days in advance. This practice ensures that I'm always scheduled for the lunch and dinner rushes that I want to be scheduled for. Next is to make sure you know your dashing area, and I mean really, really know it. Study which restaurants take longer to prepare DoorDash orders and at what times. Make a list of restaurants to avoid at specific times, and study which restaurants are the busiest as well as which restaurants have the highest paying orders. Next is to always make sure you are prepared before you start dashing, because a lack of preparation will cost you. Something I started doing early on as a dasher was packing my own lunch. Many dashers will set aside 30 minutes to an hour for a lunch break during their dash, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. However, many dashers will set aside this time. They'll then take $5 to $10 from their earnings for the day and use that to buy lunch. And over time, that begins to add up. So what I do is in between orders, I eat my lunch. While I'm waiting for different orders to come, I'll eat my lunch, and it just generally allows me to kind of just be on the go for my entire shift while also saving money. Speaking of preparation, always make sure to read the customer's comments before you leave the restaurant to head to the customer's location. Customers will often leave special instructions in the comments like this one I received here. With that being said, in the same way that customers communicate with you, make sure that you are always communicating with the customers. At least 1 to 2 times per shift, I'll have a customer tip me an additional $2 to $5 via the app or in cash, and they usually say they're doing so because of my communication skills. Now, for me personally, rather than send that one pre-made sentence that DoorDash gives you in the chat, I create a personalized text message for each customer based off the situation using pre-made templates in my phone. Here are some of the templates. You can screenshot them for your convenience and use them. Here's another pro tip. Always make sure to read the customer address before heading to the customer. Many times customers may be located in plazas or apartments. I cannot tell you how many times I've arrived at a customer's apartment for them just to forget to give me the gate code. This started happening so often that when I first started DoorDashing, I would include this little additional message in my text to the customer that said, "Hey, I have your food, I'm on the way. I noticed that you live in an apartment complex. If you have a gate code, would you please send me the gate code as well as any other special instructions that I need to be aware of when locating the building and apartment that you live in?" If the customer has a gate code, they'll send it to you, and if not, they'll just say, "Hey, we don't have a gate." The next tip is this: do not be scared of highway miles. People often say don't go out of your delivery zone because it's not worth the drive back. However, I think this varies from order to order. For example, if you see an order that takes you one city over outside of your dash zone, you shouldn't be quick to decline this, mainly because on the highway you can drive faster and there's less traffic. So this means that you could get through the delivery process faster than you would if you were driving through residential areas. Next, do not be scared of accepting stacked orders, grocery orders, or shopping orders. Oftentimes, these orders are the highest paying orders in most shifts, but you must apply the principles I discussed earlier in this video, specifically analyzing the mileage of these orders as well as considering the additional time needed to complete these orders. Now, one of the biggest mysteries in the Dasher community is whether or not a low acceptance rate leads to lower paying orders. Well, I put this theory to the test, and in this video right here, I record myself dashing with a 20% acceptance rate to truly see if I could get high paying orders while using the strategies discussed in this video. So make sure to watch this video next, as it is extremely eye-opening. I'll also have the video linked in the description as well. With all that being said, always remember guys, wisdom is free and knowledge is power. And until next time, take it easy.